Isabella has often been misunderstood. The famous phrase that the queen bathed only twice in her life doesn't quite capture the truth. There is a popular belief that the Queen of Castile, who blessed Columbus for new discoveries, took a bath only a few times and even boasted about it. This has led some to suggest that the queen could use a good wash. However, it turns out that the Spanish queen didn't need any extra bathing at all, because Isabella meant something entirely different. Queen Isabella was not just the heir to Castile and Leon. She was a woman who seized power from other claimants, as her own rights to the throne were rather tenuous. After King Henry IV, his daughter Juana was next in line for the throne. Isabella, merely the younger sister of the king, found it advantageous to label Juana Beltraneja as illegitimate. In fact, even Henry himself came to believe that his wife had given birth to a bastard. So, when the king passed away, Isabella sidelined her niece, took control of the throne, organized troops against the Portuguese ruler who invaded her lands, and compelled the nobles to bow before her. She was a tough cookie. Another major goal for Isabella was the Reconquista, the expulsion of the Moors from the peninsula. The Berbers had arrived in Spain in the year 711 and were unwilling to give up their territory. They built their own cities, and there were periods when they dictated terms to the kings of Leon and Navarre, Castile, and Aragon. One of the Navarrese rulers even had to give his daughter to the harem of the Caliph al-Mansur. Having coexisted for centuries, both cultures became well acquainted with each other's traditions. For example, the Moors practiced mandatory bathing. In the city of Granada, the capital of the Nasrid Sultanate, there were estimated to be around 700 public baths. What about the Christians? They bathed, but in a different way. In cold weather, they preferred to wipe themselves down with damp cloths, and when it was warmer, they would pour water over themselves from basins, either on their own or with the help of servants. In the field, they simply changed their undershirts more frequently, but they certainly didn't shy away from cleanliness. So, Isabella could have been completely sincere when she said she bathed only twice in her life. Whether she actually said this is debatable, and the number varies. Some say 2, others 3. For a devout Christian strictly adhering to religious tenets, splashing around in a bath would have been unacceptable. After all, that was a foreign tradition. How could she indulge in it when she was expelling a foreign culture from her realm? However, not bathing and not washing at all are two entirely different things. Over the centuries, these nuanced meanings have been lost. By repeating the oft-cited phrase, many have concluded that Isabella was dirty and could have used a wash. Yet, she was the very queen who established the export of fragrant soap from Castile. Moreover, it was considered to be of exceptional quality. The soap production brought in good revenue, and in the Spanish book, Manual de Mugera y nel qual se can en muchas y diversas recetas, housewives were given detailed recipes for making homemade soap. Were they doing it just for fun? The book dates back to the 16th century. Even earlier, in the 14th century, Boccaccio wrote, "Taking a servant, Catella went to the baths." There are hundreds of other confirmations regarding cleanliness: letters, memoirs, miniatures, and paintings. Of course, there were some unconscious citizens like King Henry IV, but his aversion to hygiene is not representative of the norm. So, Isabella certainly bathed. Her biographer, historian Joseph Perez, found no evidence that she avoided washing. However, whether she took baths remains a question. Another noble, Isabella, also of Spanish descent, did indeed avoid changing her shirt for a time. I've mentioned this before. These two women are often confused due to their similar names. The one who took a vow ruled in the Netherlands, while the one who completed the Reconquista was the Queen of unified Spain. It's likely that the actions of the Dutch Isabella cast a shadow on Isabella of Castile. However, they are different women, and their stories are not alike at all.